Hello, good people, and welcome to Let's Live, Love, and Learn with Khalil Hill. I go by the name of Khalil Judy Hill, and I'm excited once again to share a part of myself with all of you. As always, I will encourage everyone to use their own discernment when listening to this content. There are going to be things that you agree with, and there are going to be things that you absolutely disagree with, and that's 100% okay. I would like for everyone to simply, contemplate those concepts that are really resonating with you, and then the rest just leave it behind. I share these life lessons, not to get you to adopt them, but to more so inspire you to seek your own life lessons in order for you to obtain some that enrich your life. Ultimately, this creative expression of mine, I hope that it helps others feel a little less alone in this great big world, and uh, a little bit more loved as they, travel, this journey we call life back to the heart of the Creator. So let's kind of jump into today's video with a quick recap of what we talked about the last time. So the last video we talked about Khalil Gibran and his masterpiece, The Prophet, and the impact it had on my life. We discussed the two life lessons. Well, we discussed that there were two lessons that have formed like the cornerstone of my belief system, of which everything that I learned today is kind of built on top of. The first one that we discussed the last time is that there's beauty and purpose in all things. And today we're going to get into the second life lesson, which is to trust life because every experience is for our soul's development. So, to kind of start that discussion, we're going to take a moment to read a quote from the prophet, which kind of really illustrates and kind of sets uh, the groundwork for today's discussion. Here we go. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husk. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. And so, when I listen, to those words and I read that quote, there's a couple of things that really stick out to me as far as how Gibran viewed love. One, it was kind of like love is an emissary that was responsible for guarding, the heart of God, of the Creator, and that it was that emissary's responsibility in order to purify and make worthy anyone who approaches or would like to get close to the Creator. And then there's this other aspect of love to where it's a part of God that requires our trust and our yielding before it will reveal its secrets and its mysteries to us. And I believe that our ability to trust and yield to love, it allows us access to love's care, its caresses, its gentleness, but it also makes us. And there's the thing that we have to learn to appreciate. It's purging as well. It's purification process as well. And so, um, one of the things when I read that quote. And at the time, you have to keep in mind, like being part of the Judeo Christian faith, there's this ideal, and I'm not saying it's everyone's ideal within the faith, but it was definitely mine, that there was this dichotomy set up that there's God, which was responsible for everything that was positive, that was good, associated with pleasure, and then there was this evil entity, which we called the devil or Satan or Lucifer, that was responsible for everything negative, everything that's wrong or bad or evil within the world. And so, this quote and how Gibran framed love and thereby, in association, God, was that the good times, the pleasure, and the pains of life were all coming from one source. And that's something that was it was a huge paradigm shift for me. You know, understanding that there wasn't necessarily this evil entity that was attacking me, that was, trying to bring me down, trying to destroy me just because it's evil. Um, that was a shift, and honestly, it was a little bit of a relief as well. You know, there is a difference when you're going through tough times, when you're going through suffering, when you're going through when life be lifing. There's no better way to say it. It's one thing to go through it and think that it's because something evil or something that is malevolent is trying to take you down, trying to destroy you, or is attacking you. Like from a mental standpoint, that is very weighty. It's something that you're going through this, physically, you're going through this emotionally, but you're also going through it mentally. And to think that something's trying to take you down and punish you, that's a whole other level of weight mentally. Is a complete shift whenever you're going through these things, the trials and tribulations of life, and you know that it's from the same source that has presented life's pleasures and your most memorable, proudest, and exciting and beloved moments as well. Knowing that everything that happens to you, whether it's pleasure or painful, that it's all coming from one source, and the reason that it's happening is out of love, is out of a care and concern, and for your well-being and development. It completely shifts the weight mentally that you have whenever you're going through it. It's kind of like, and I'll use the example of my parents, and hopefully, like most parents out there, obviously there's the positive aspects of having parents who love you. You get gifts, you have times of joy, of laughter, sharing positive experiences with them. And when you're out of line, when you do something that is either against their rules or doing something that may be harmful to your health or to the health and safety of those around you within the family, there's consequences, right? There may be punishments. You may be, from an early age, you may be put in timeout, or as you grow up, you may be grounded, can't leave the house, or may have your phone or whatever taken away. At that moment, it's very hard for you to appreciate it. You don't like it at all. Uh, and to many, it probably does feel like suffering. But here's the thing, when you look back on it, you learn to appreciate it. You appreciate the fact that they loved you enough that they did give you punishments, or that they did show you that there's consequences for behaving a certain way. That, if you want to get a desired result, then you can't do certain things. And that's kind of how life is. At least that's the way that I look at it now. And so, trusting life, it does not mean that bad things won't happen to you. I'm going to say that right now. Uh, Loved ones will pass away. You may get some absolutely devastating news about your health, or you may get some devastating news about the health of someone that you love. Having faith or trust in life does not give you clemency from difficult lessons. You have to go through 'em. You have to learn those lessons. Trusting life more so means that you're accepting everything that it introduces because you know that it's for your edification or for the edification of those that are around you who may be observing your experiences, maybe observing you and learning lessons for themselves so they don't have to go through those experiences as well. It means it doesn't mean questioning life because you feel like something's unfair, or you feel like something is wrong, or you shouldn't have gone through it. That's not what it means. It means questioning life in order to learn and in order to grow. You question life in order to, uh, for your own soul's development, but you also question life in order to obtain these lessons so that you can share it with others as well. Trust in life comes easiest when you kind of see the world for its true purpose, and you focus more on the eternal aspects of your being. And when I say that is, obviously we're going to go into it in other videos, but I truly view this life as, because, I do believe that we have many lives, we have many incarnations, and every single incarnation, I believe, is to develop our souls in order to learn something, to mold us, to get closer to our ultimate form of being, that's closest to God. And if we look at this life for that purpose, for the eternal, aspects of it, I believe that we become more in sync with the infinite, and we discover this calm amidst the most turbulent storms that we are surrounded by, especially in the world that we're living in today. And so, I've learned so much, from the different philosophies, faiths, religions, trains of thought that I've been exposed to over the years. But one thing that I realize more than anything else is that our observations of life, what we experience, should take precedence over all of that. And, we feel and work through our spiritual curriculum every single day as we go through the most mundane of experiences to the most amazing moments of our lives. And so, opening our hearts and opening our minds to being receptive to that continual stream of communication, of lessons, is very critical to our evolution and to our growth as we, travel this journey towards the Creator. So, trusting life has allowed me to kind of let my defenses down and to open up, to connect, to embrace, and assimilate every single experience that happens to me. We can easily get into this habit of where, and I kind of mentioned in the last video, where something will happen to us and we'll immediately condemn it. And we'll say, oh, this shouldn't have happened, that it was wrong. It shouldn't have happened. And so we kind of discount it. We don't take a moment to kind of sit back and really ask, as painful or insufferable as it may be, to sit back and really ask ourselves, okay, this is happening to me. Why is it happening? What am I supposed to learn from it? What can I extract from it? Is there something positive that may be hidden in it that isn't obvious at the time? And so that's something that I try to do with every experience. I may be wrapped up in it for a little bit, but at least at some point, I kind of calm myself and center myself, and I try to step back and try to realize, okay, there's something good and positive in here that's for my benefit. I know it is. I have to have faith that it is in order for me to truly take those steps in order to seek out what it is and try to learn and grow from it. Um, Trusting life, it does a great job of kind of keeping my fears at bay and enables me to kind of remain steadfast to the exchange of love. It's very easy for us to get caught up in that negative, that negative flow of things. And, we go through these experiences and then we try to, we have a reactionary approach to where we kind of insulate ourselves and we kind of constrict. And it cuts off, the exchange of love, whether that's we become fearful, we constrict, and so therefore we're not able to give as much love. And the catch to that is that we're also not able to receive much love as well. And so having that ability to always be open to the exchange of love, even in turbulent times, allows you to have and seek those opportunities to where there's a chance for you to give love, which is very important to us, not just the receiving of love, but to give love to those who need to receive it. And just as important is that you're able to open up and receive love, for yourself and for that individual who needs that opportunity to give it. It's that circuitry. It's that give and take that we all need in order to not only to survive, but to thrive and to live. And so, having that trust in life has loosened my grip uh, and that need to control things as well. Controlling the world around you, most people Gosh, the idea of not having control drives them crazy. Uh, but that is something that when you feel like you don't need to control the world anymore, or control the things around you because you just have faith that things are going to work out, and you know that it's for your benefit, gosh, it releases so much stress, it releases so much weight that you've carried on your shoulders. And that's something that I absolutely, it is priceless to me. Looking at our world today, there is so much that seems so wrong, right? And I get it. And I bemoan and I find myself complaining about it myself as well. But, what I've realized is that a lot of times we may only be seeing the beginning of something that could turn out to be absolutely beautiful. And to give you an example, it's not a leap, for us. We see stories all the time where it plays out in TV shows or movies where something tragic may happen to someone in the early childhood, and it leads them down a path that may be dark, and it may be cold, and it may be lonely at first. But as they grow up through adolescence and through adulthood, that moment, which seemed tragic and horrible at the time, which it probably was, don't get me wrong, but that moment was a turning point, and it led them to a life that was filled with a passion for helping others, to making sure that the other people that they have an influence over, the people that they can positively impact, doesn't share the same experiences that they had. Whether that's a lifelong giving to charities, whatever the case may be, advocacy work. That is something that is absolutely beautiful. Or you look at the child who may have grown up in poverty, who didn't have a lot of meals. They couldn't count on 3 meals a day, not even 2 meals a day. Their only great meal they had was going, to school. Like that, they could experience during the holidays, a moment where a stranger, provides a great meal for them during a Thanksgiving or through a Christmas. And that could change their life to where they devote, you know, their life to helping others, to providing meals for hundreds, if not thousands of people, through their charity work. We look at certain cities or communities that are riddled with crime, whether that's robbery, murders, whatever the case may be. And yes, it is absolutely terrible. It is absolutely horrible. But in those communities, there's opportunities, right? There's opportunities to address, mental health issues. There's opportunities to address nutritional deficiencies, especially if they're in food deserts. And there's opportunities to address a possible spiritual neglect as well, within individuals in that community. And so it's kind of like these symptoms are crying out for us to have an opportunity to give of ourselves, to give love. And there's an opportunity for them to receive love that may change their complete outlook on how they think about life, and they think about their future. And so many times we are often victims of viewpoints that are too close to appreciate the big picture that is developing. We assess frames of life without the benefit of context, making it easy for us to judge them negatively. So, what I propose, crazy, what I propose is that maybe we should stop doing that. Crazy, I know. Let's stop depriving ourselves and others of joy by expecting the worst, thinking that nothing can get better. Let's give life the benefit of the doubt, and by understanding that, what, there's a necessity for pain, there's a necessity for suffering, there's a necessity for discomfort. And we talked about that in the last video. Like, the light needs the darkness, in order for us to truly experience joy. We need to understand sorrow, we need to understand pain. And a lot of times these great moments, these beautiful moments that develop before us, they have to go through times of darkness, they have to go through times of pain, they have to go through times that seem so tragic in order to create eventually something that is the most beautiful. And so let's use our imaginations and let's start assuming positive intent. If we do this, I think that we'll see that our faith and our trust will grow in life. It will prove that both are well placed And I think that that veil that's covering our consciousness, will be lifted, and we'll start seeing just how beautiful this world really is and how worthy it is of our trust, because it truly is ultimately for our soul's development. So, in closing, here's your question. And as always, I want you to put your answers in the comments below because I would love to read them. And I am sure that others in this community would love to read them as well. So, here's your question. Do you believe that there is a higher power looking out for us? If so, would you love that power any more or less if you found out they are responsible for not only the happiest moments of our lives, but also for the most heartbreaking and traumatic experiences as well? How would you look at that higher power if you knew they were responsible for both? Put those answers in the comments below. And then here's today's quote and message to my son. No matter where life may lead you, ask yourself if you're growing and expanding your capacity to love. It's never about the circumstance or situation you find yourself in. It's always about who you are and who you're becoming within it. All right. Thanks again for spending about 15 to 20-ish minutes with me. It's truly a joy to share a part of myself with all of you. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Know that you're never, ever, ever alone, and that you are always loved. Peace out.